Well, here we are on Cricbuzz Live. It's halfway through Sunday. We had an exciting match in prospect between the two neighboring cities up north, Lucknow and Delhi. Lucknow put runs on the board. Delhi looked like they were on a fast train to getting them. The only problem is they kept losing wickets every time they stepped on the gas. And that means they probably are going to end up falling short. We will not preempt that until the fat lady has sung. For now, we've got a more important game to look forward to. That's the one coming up. Yes, indeed. It's orange against yellow. It is Chennai taking on Hyderabad, which assumes a little bit more significance because of the fact that MS Dhoni is back in charge. Well, here we have, let's on Cricbuzz Live, joined by Lisa and Michael. Quick update on the toss. MS Dhoni has lost the toss, and even though there were rumors flying around that he would decide to bat first, he's having to bat first anyway because Kane Williamson, Michael, goes only one way.
Yeah, that's the Kane way, bowling and then chasing later, understandably at night, when this dew comes into play. I'm intrigued by MS Dhoni this evening. The skipper's back at the helm. Can he get something extra out of this yellow army that's been struggling and just not been able to find any kind of rhythm of play, been losing key moments in pretty much most of the games where we've been so accustomed to seeing Chennai win the key moments over the last however many years with MS at the helm. Well, he's back in charge, so let's see what happens.
Yeah, he had that cheeky smile at the toss. Whether that was about his comeback or whether it was in the company of Danny Morrison, we'll never know. But Lisa, just in terms of the 11, they've made a couple of changes. As he said, probably necessitated. One perhaps tactical. The other one was niggle related. Dwayne Bravo not fit for this game. Simarjeet Singh comes in and Devon Conway comes in for Shivam Dube.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it? The one thing that just quickly doing a bit of research, Simarjeet Singh, he actually came into the Mumbai Indians side last year because of Arjun Tendulkar, but also travelled with the Indian side to Sri Lanka as a netballer as well. So he would have gained a lot of experience. No doubt the talent scouts would have seen a lot more of him as well and how he coped in those pressure situations. Now he gets an opportunity. He bowls around 135 clicks, I'm told. So looking forward to seeing what he does. And Devon Conway, well, he left the bio bubble to get married. So let's hope married life goes all right for him in the middle now.
Yeah, it's not the first one. It's starting to become a trend at this tournament, Michael. We've Glenn Maxwell's had the proper ceremonies in the bio bubble, and Conway did it slightly differently, left and came right back in.
Yeah, I saw the pictures from Glenn Maxwell's wedding. It looked a spectacular affair. Conway will just slot into number 3. It's been a bit of a problem for Chennai. They've been using Santner at number 3. He's not really got going. So you'd think that Conway will just slip into number 3. He's a quality player. He's the kind of player that you can bat around. You look at someone like Aidan Markram that we'll see this evening, who's been so good for the Sunrisers in that middle of the innings by just playing. He's been hitting the boundaries nicely. His strike rate's been excellent, but he just plays orthodox cricket. And I do think in these kind of franchise leagues, you can have that one player that can just bat. Look at KL Rahul in the first game. You get the one player just playing and knocking it around and being there for quite a lot of the innings. It allows your firecrackers to come out and explode with a bit more freedom. But it's so important that you have that kind of consistency of one player consistently scoring runs.
What will be interesting, Lisa, is to see where Conway actually slots in, because we know Chennai in the past have really enjoyed historically the one overseas opener along with the Indian opener for as long as we can remember, including last year. This time it's been all about Uthappa and Ruturaj Gaikwad. You reckon they'll stick to that and Conway maybe comes in at 3?
Well, it's been an issue for a lot of teams, hasn't it? That opening partnership hasn't really fired. As individuals, they've stepped up to the plate. Gaikwad was slow out of the blocks and now he started to get going. I think more of the issue is that number 3 spot. So I'd probably stick with Uthappa and Gaikwad at the top and then try Devon Conway. But who knows? Whatever Mahendra Singh Dhoni wants to do, he will do it.
I like that. Good answer, Lisa. Very good answer, Lisa. For Hyderabad, of course, it's the affable, the genial King Williamson who's leading the way there. Won another toss, and they decided to bowl first. And of course, they've been focusing on this 11, which looks like their best 11. So why would you change anything? They just had a bit of a blip when Washington Sundar had the injury. Suchit didn't do the worst job in the world. Now things are back. And even Shashank Singh, Michael Vaughan, as we said, was the one man. He didn't do anything wrong. It's just that he didn't bat, except in the last game when he struck at 400 plus.
Yeah, I mean, it's very typical of Kane Williamson. He stays loyal and consistent. He likes to kind of get a group together and get their roles identified quite quickly, and he sticks by it. You know, he's got a very consistent mindset with the way that he leads his teams, whether it's New Zealand or the Sunrise. I think he puts a lot of onus on players to understand their own roles and give them that kind of responsibility to deliver those roles, and he sticks by it. They've had a blip or two. The last game was a game they should have won, but you know, I don't think he's the kind of captain that would have effed and blinded in the dressing room. He'd have just strategically just probably spoken to one or two players about the way that they didn't quite execute their skills with the ball in hand, but he'll be quietly quite happy with the way that they've played this year. They've played some good cricket.
But of course, what did happen in their last game was they were doing things not quite their own way. They ended up putting a lot of runs on the board, couldn't defend it, but Lisa back to chasing for them. And the Indian bowling contingent, that's again been the strength for Hyderabad over the years. Yes, they've had Marco Jansen added to the list, but the Indians are doing the job. Umran Malik, Bhuvaneshwar Kumar,
Yep.
T. Natarajan.
Yeah, no, all three of them have been bowling really well. I mean, Umran Malik picked up a fifer in a losing affair and actually got player of the match. Natarajan has been good at both ends of the innings. So it's not just a certain point in the match where he's being used and that's the only place that he's effective. And let's hope that Bhuvi can swing the ball as well early on whilst it's new and hard. And they've all been working really well together. And the extra pace of Umran Malik just gives it a bit more of an X factor now.
Mm-hmm.
But I must confess, what I'm really looking forward to is seeing Ravindra Jadeja on the field, because we expect a different kind of body language for him. Who knows? He'll be padded up early on. MS will just send him out there, fielding, bowling. I mean, you know, relinquishing captaincy for performance, it was probably a no-brainer. But Michael, you'd be glad that he had the, I'm not sure if guts is the word, but the bravado to go out there and do it.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, ultimately, when you captain his size, you've got to enjoy it. You know, you've got to enjoy that extra responsibility. You've got to enjoy the fact that the decision-making process is on you. You've got to almost enjoy that you make the odd mistake. That's part of being a captain, that you can't expect that you're going to get all your decisions right. It's just part of the job. And he's probably just sat down over the last week or so and thought, you know, I'm not actually enjoying my cricket, and it's because of the captaincy. I enjoy playing cricket by just being the all-rounder. You know, he's in the game all the time. Anyway, he's actually a leader naturally by the way that he plays. So he's probably had a chat with a few close people and thought, no, it's not for me at this stage of my career. I'm quite happy to get back into the ranks, get back to being the all-rounder. And I wouldn't be surprised if he has a night out tonight. And we'll see Jadeja back to, you know, the outstanding player that we know that he can be.
Would this establish, Lisa, once and for all, that there are some players, no matter how senior they get, whatever they do, leadership is probably not their cup of tea, and he's probably sent a message for good, that if you are looking for an alternative to MS Dhoni, look elsewhere in the team, as Michael suggested.
Yeah, it isn't a job that everyone wants. It's not a job that is easy as well, and there are a lot of different layers that come with it. Most outsiders or spectators will see, you know, the tactical side, all the plays that they make on the field, but it's the man management off, the selection meetings, the media, it's all of the extras that come onto that, dealing with the owners, no doubt. So that has an added pressure, eats into your downtime. We've spoken at length for the last few years about bio bubbles. They're still in one. So all of that kind of weighs on a player. And as I've said before, very brave decision to do it. And I hope for his sake, and I'm sure Dhoni will find a place and a time to inject him into the game. He'll make sure that it's absolutely perfect for him to succeed, because he'll want to get the best out of him. And that's something that Dhoni's been able to do for however long we can remember.
Which is quite a while. But on the subject of captaincy, Jadeja's handed over to Dhoni. In the first game, we saw KL Rahul play a captain's knock. We saw Rishabh Pant respond with a captain's knock, even though it probably wasn't enough. In this game, you've got a captaincy change on one side and an out-of-form captain on the other, Michael. I mean, yes, I'm sure you can hide it by all the other players performing, but Kane will be the first to admit that I'd like a few runs.
Yeah, he'd like some. He doesn't seem the character to me that would overly be too concerned. Of course, every player that's playing, whether you're captain or not, if you're in that top order, you want big runs. And at the minute, so far, Kane's not managed to get that big score. I don't see that he's playing any differently. I don't look and think, his technique's a little bit out of sync, or his mindset or his thought process doesn't seem to be quite right. It's T20 cricket. You go through periods where you get a few low scores, but the best players stay very true to what they're about. They stay very true to their own game. And Kane's game is to bat a long period of time. He's not going to explode. He's not suddenly, you wouldn't think, would come into the power play and be 40 at the end of 6. He's the kind of player that will, by the time it gets to the 10 over mark, he might be at 40, 50 by around the 13th, and then he'll start to really explode towards the back end of the innings. But his role is to bat the majority of the innings, to be that player and allow some of the firecrackers to come out and play cameos around him. But he's never too far away from a score, Kane Williamson.
Well, we've got some numbers that I thought I'd put in there, and I'll bring Lisa into that to sort of round off this Kane Williamson discussion. And if you look at his struggles against pace, and obviously he bats up the order and he will face a fair battery of it. 108 of 119 deliveries, 7 dismissals, Lisa. Or could it just not necessarily be a pattern, but just that he's facing pretty much a lot of pace?
Yeah, I mean, you're starting to see in T20 cricket the odd over being bowled by a spinner within the power play. But yeah, he does face predominantly a lot of pace bowling. Same thing kind of happened, a matchup of Elisa Healy versus Catherine Brunt. And we're saying, Catherine Brunt's got you so many times. She goes, well, of course she has. I open the batting, she opens the bowling. Like, that's going to happen. It's only you guys beefing it up a bit more. So I think it's a little bit of that. Yes, he's going to face a lot of pace, but it's not the Kane Williamson, the year that Dave Warner wasn't there and he took over the captaincy. He showed us that he can play T20 cricket and be able to score runs and score it quickly. He just seems to be a little bit out of touch at the moment. But we've seen the greats come back already in this tournament.
We certainly have. For Kane Williamson, of course, he'll be pretty much happy if his team keeps on picking up 2 points. Another successful chase if that happens tonight against a team second from bottom on the table. Now, how are they going to get up from second from bottom? Maybe it's not going to be top 4, but they'd certainly like to finish 5th, 6th, wherever they could possibly finish, Michael. And is Dhoni the man to do it? Because purely in terms of personnel, the ethos of the team looks the same. Yeah, Shivam Dube has come out. We've had a like-for-like replacement. No DJ Bravo today. But can his presence make that much of a difference and bring out the best in some of these guys?
Oh, yeah, he can certainly add, a percentage value to what he brings. Whatever that percentage value is, that's a debate for all of us. I think the real good captains do just maximise that little bit extra out of players. And it might only be 7-10%, but it's a lot. If a batter's averaging 27, 28, and you can get into average 33, 34, that's a big jump in T20 cricket. If you can get a strike rate from 140 to 155, again, it's a big jump in T20 cricket by the way that you manage people and get them to understand the roles that they are trying to play for the side. So, what he's done over the last 2 or 3 days, probably not a lot. MS generally leaves his door open to everyone, whoever wants to come in and have a chat. It'll be no different when he wasn't the captain to what he's doing now. But he's got presence. When you've got that kind of presence and personality, it certainly will have an effect.
Well, the first door he's opened is to Devon Conway, and he said, you want to come in here, open the batting? And that's exactly what's happened. Rituraj Gaikwad, Devon Conway, new opening pair for Chennai, as they've been asked to bat first by Sunrisers, and that's going to be interesting. So Devon Conway, I guess, he is used to opening the batting, and probably they'll feel that little bit of change of a reset button for Robin Uthappa going down the order.
Yeah, I mean, he did. Robin actually bat 3 last year as well. I feel like there was some times that he did. So he has done it in the past. He has had success doing it in the past as well. You guys were right. MS Dhoni wants to have that split of an Indian and an international opener, and then you start to kind of interchange the players depending on matchups and things like that. So let's see if it works. Maybe that's all they needed.
Well, I mean, let's maybe finish off with a memory, Michael. If you can think of a time when you've had a slight change of captain, wherever it is, it could be Test cricket, it could be a one-day cricket, where you've seen in your own experience in the opposition that a change of captain, a change of leadership has actually made a marked difference to an 11.
I haven't, off the top of my head, I can't remember one specific moment, but it happens all the time in football over here when a manager gets sacked and an interim takes place or takes over with the same players, and it's only a few days later, and all of a sudden those players, for whatever reason, run that little bit harder, that little bit further, because they have to impress the new person in charge. And that's not the case with Chennai, because the new person in charge is the old person in charge. I don't know if they can run any harder. T20 cricket, it's such fine margins, and the fine margins this year that they've not managed to win. You think under MS Dhoni, he must just have that presence out in the middle that keeps his players nice and relaxed when the pressure moment is on. He has an incredible calm, interior and exterior for what he must be a delight to play under, because he never really looks like he's putting any of his players under pressure. And I'm pretty sure that's going to be the case today.
Well, there's going to be lots of talking points, because we've had a very long opening match between Delhi and Lucknow. Obviously, it's been hot, so people have been taking it slowly. But very rarely when the second game has started is the first one still far from decided. We thought it was done and dusted. We had pretty much handed it over to Lucknow. Marcus Stoinis, well, he didn't really perform with the bat. We wondered, would he hide with the ball? Well, he hit for a while, Lisa, but he's been handed the final over of the innings. And guess what? Kuldeep Yadav is getting stuck into him.
Can you believe that it's the first time we're seeing him bowl in this and it's the last over? Like, that takes a lot of guts. And obviously, and we've seen regularly in the IPL, in the second innings, the last over, the first ball goes for 6. It's made perfect, isn't it, for everyone to go, well, what do I watch? Which one do I watch? The second game has started, but the first one still hasn't finished. So, plenty of action.
Yeah, I think we would obviously want to focus. We would have wanted to focus on what was happening there. Michael, just a quick thought from you. Who would you have tossed the last over to, given the fact that Krunal Pandya was captain for a bit? Rahul's come back in. He's dropped a catch. So much has happened, and you've gone to someone who hasn't really bowled so far.
Well, you're looking at your other options being Gautam. He'd bowled 2 overs, 1 for 23, so you could go the offie. There's no Holder left, no Bishnoi left, no Chamira, no Mosin Khan. So you've either got Pandya, left arm spin. They've opted to go Stoinis. So now, I haven't got it on my screen, but I'm guessing they're trying to get into ball to one side of the ground, the bigger side of the ground. These last over finishes, it almost seems to happen in the IPL.
Well,
it's amazing, isn't it?
Unexpected personnel, Lisa. I mean, if you had said somebody from the Delhi side is smashing Marcus Stoinis for a big 6, you could have chosen a whole lot of players from Rovman Powell to Prithvi Shaw to David Warner, but not Kuldeep Yadav. Great bowler.
Hey.
He
Well,
can
this
bat.
is what's happening. Yeah, Delhi, something seems to be happening. You know, they've got the best out of him from a bowling point of view, no doubt working from a batting perspective. I remember speaking actually to Daniel Sams when he came back after spending some time with Delhi, and he spoke about working with Ricky and the rest of the coaching staff on power hitting. So they must be doing a lot of work with their tail enders on just being able to clear the boundaries off one or two deliveries that they face. It's working.
Well, I can tell you Akshar Patel is keeping it very simple. 12 of 2, technically 13 of 2, but 12 of 2 to take it to a super over. He did not give the strike to Kuldeep Yadav. He instead has kept it for himself. But what we'll do is, of course, we expect it now. We expect it to go Lucknow's way. If something spectacular happens, we, of course, will wrap it all up. We've got lots more to talk about in the mid-innings of the second game, in the end of both the games, and, of course, on Comboxes, we'll discuss it all. But I can tell you it's mathematically done and dusted. Quick prediction for Chennai. Let's not forget, that's the game we're talking about. Lisa, Chennai are batting first. New opening combination. How many are they going to get? It's MSD in charge.
176.
176. What are your boys saying, Michael?
Well, they're going to go a bit higher than I said in the first game. They're going 166.
A little higher. Well, I'm going to actually stick to a little bit lower. I'm getting into the 150s. 158.
Wow.
158 is all I'm saying. I trust the Sunrisers bowling attack to come out on top once again and just let MSD have one match to settle down with his side there. So there you have it. We've got a variety of predictions. We will talk about Lucknow and their sneaking in that victory finally at the end of the day. We can confirm Lucknow have won the game. We'll talk about it at the end. From Cricbuzz Live, that's all we have.